Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. And today we're getting into more level building. So, in the past several streams, I've been working on a level that was a gray box level that I made called Rooftops, and I've fully swapped out all of those primitive gray box assets with real environment pieces that look like the sci-fi futuristic setting of Dawn City. And I have just about wrapped up that level. And I think I'm going to do a couple of more minor improvements to it, and then I'll publish it, and I'll show you guys publishing that to the content portal. And once I've finished up with that, I will move on to another gray box level. And I'm thinking that I'm going to go with one that I didn't make. So I might take the DCH Tower gray box and do my own spin on fleshing that out with environment assets. So let's hop right into it. I have pulled up DCH Rooftops full level, which is the full version of the gray box. And as you can see, I have replaced all of the gray box assets with like environment pieces. So there's all this like metal stuff, there's buildings, and it looks a lot nicer than the old level. So if I play through, I'm just gonna do a quick run through. I'll play as though I were actually playing, but I'll point out some bits of it that I want to improve still before I publish. This is fully playable. It has all of the gameplay stuff from the gray box. It just has all the environment pieces now too. So we have this alley, and I have this street light, which I think I'm going to add more of these because there's some spots you'll see that are pretty dark. I changed these rooftops to be a little bit easier to jump up on, and now we can kind of see this whole loading bay layout. I'm going to hop up here and try to grab these coins. Okay, but I'm going to hop in here. And I'll go on the other side. Uh-oh. Ah, okay. Well, so that was kind of weird. Something that can happen is when you come out of a hiding spot, whoa. Don't back off the edge of the building. That's not advisable. When you come out of a hiding spot, the hiding prompt might not be there until you re-enter the trigger for it. That's not something that I think can be fixed just with the technology that we have available in the Endless Mission, but it kind of gives you an incentive as a player to make a quick getaway after you've come out of hiding. Or at least if you're going back in hiding, to do it quickly again. So I'm going to run past this guy, jump up onto these floating shipping containers, have these coins, here's another one, wait for him to turn around, and I'm going to hop in this hiding spot. So I've made these drones a lot faster, and it's much harder to get through without being spotted now. You have to be really kind of quick on your feet and carefully time your getaway through here. Now, there's that other section, but I haven't gotten the target treasure yet, and I want to get that. There's an area over here. I can see this coin. It's really, really dark. And in the original gray box, there was a pathway that you could walk along around the edge of that building and just get straight in there. But you can't anymore because I've scaled up the walls. And I think that's something I want to change as well. I would like that to be a walkway where you can still get through, because otherwise you have to backtrack and go through here like I'm doing now. I haven't sprinted at all yet, and that's something that I suppose I can test and see how easy it is to get away from these drones when you sprint. Now, this guy, I've made him faster, but it's still pretty easy to just walk around and not get seen by him. So, like I just did, but now he's going to go away, and I'll wait for him. There he goes. And there's another coin here, actually. It's really hard to see because all of these big walls around the edges of this building have almost completely blocked out the light. The roof, I made this kind of semi-transparent glass, but you can only see a little bit of the light because of the angle that the sun is at, since it's kind of a late afternoon sort of look here. So that's another place where I think some lights would be a nice touch. Here's another coin. And if I walk up here, there's another spot. It's totally going to see me. I run really fast. It looks like I got out of his line of sight. Oh well. Like I said, because I've made all these drones faster, it actually is more challenging to get past them. Now, I am the creator of this level, so I don't have, like, the perfect playtesting experience here. If I really want to see what players think while they're trying to explore this level, I would have to get other people to test it. Saw me just out of the corner of his vision, so I hid in there. I'm gonna sneak right around the edge of that guy. And there's coins in these shipping containers as well. Another thing that's kind of hard to see. If I stay in the very back of that shipping container, he can't see me. I'm like just out of the edge of his vision. And I got a key in kind of a hidden area on that other building, and that opens this last shipping container. So now if I look here, this coin I need to lift up just a little bit so it's not clipping through the ground. Oh well. Oh no. Ah. Somehow I was able to get past him. Okay. And now I'll just get over to the exit. I've got all the collectibles for this level. And I open that door, and then I go in this ship, and that's it. So, what do I need to change? There's a coin that I need to lift up just a little bit because it clips through the ground. So let's just do that before I forget. When I do those playthroughs and I make a mental note of all the things that I need to change, a lot of the times I just forget some of the things because there's a lot of things to be addressed. So let's just move that up just a little, and that's fixed. And there's a few places that would benefit from some street lights, but that's pretty easy to do. What I might do first is adjust this building. So I want there to be a walkway, and let me disable the gameplay section so that I don't see all those drone patrol areas. So there's a corner right here. It's pretty hard to see. What I might do is just grab a street light really quickly so that I can see this area better. So, So the way that I organized this before is I made a lighting folder, and that's just the lights. But what I might do is actually take the prop that I have associated with those lights, which would be street lamp 3 lights. I'm going to move this into the lighting section, and I'm going to take these point lights that are associated with that lamp and make it children of the lamp. Whoops, that was not what I meant to do. Okay, so now if I zoom in, I can see that's a street light, and it has 3 point lights with it. But now, what this allows me to do is if I duplicate that street light, I can just have a street light with lights in roughly the correct positions for each of the lights on it, and I can just use this asset around the level. So I think if I put this over here, maybe in the corner, and zoom in a bit, down to it's not floating, and I'll rotate that, whoops, not that one, this axis, so it's like that. Maybe I'll move that a bit to the very corner. And what I want is for this to illuminate the edge of this building, as well as a little bit kind of draw attention to that corner. Now, the lights don't have to stay exactly where they are currently. I can take a little bit of creative freedom because it's hard to tell exactly where a light source is coming from, especially because these point lights, they cast light evenly in all directions. It doesn't look like a glowing orb, it just illuminates the surfaces. Like, I can't see that that's there. So in the player's mind, if they just see that it's illuminated roughly in this area, it will kind of be a natural connection in their brain that, oh, that light is coming from this lamp, even though technically there is a sphere of light here that's casting light in all directions. So I'm just going to move these to where they are most useful for gameplay and where it looks the best, but is still like easy to tell, oh, that's coming from that street light right there. So I think that's about right. I feel like this lamp is tilted a little bit and it's not supposed to be. There we go. That is better. Okay, so now the problem is there's a catwalk kind of thing out here. There's a ledge, but this building is blocking it. So I wonder if I can just take the whole building and move it. Not the rooftop bit, because the rooftop is what my ledge platform is. But if I take, I think it's this pipe is the main bit, and I just move it backwards. Now, these walls are going to be kind of sticking out on either side. I think that's pretty much okay. I mean, this is a funky sci-fi building. They don't obey the same architectural laws that we do. And now you can kind of see that there's a ledge out there that is walkable. So that's what I want. I think this would benefit from even more lights kind of pointing out that walkway so that it draws it to the player's attention. So let's now take a look at this drone in this building. So I'm going to add more streetlights later. First, I want to tackle the gameplay of the drone that lives in here. What I might do briefly is take this glass roof and disable it so that I can just look directly at what's in here. I have to re-enable gameplay so that I can see the drone, and let's take a look. I think what I'm considering doing is actually getting rid of this drone and replacing him with a different couple of drones. But I'm not quite sure. What would be the best thing for me to do here? Maybe I have one idea. Maybe I don't get rid of him, but I rotate him so that he's facing a different way, and then I duplicate him. So what I mean by that is if I take this patrol bot and the patrol nodes and I rotate them about 90 degrees, more or less. If I make him... Now, what I'm going to have to do is adjust the nodes because he's going to have his vision cone go past the wall, and I don't want that to happen. So if I take... not that one. Not that one. This one. And, well, that actually... Oh, okay. I see the problem now with moving this building. So the problem, which I did not foresee, is that the edge of this building just goes off into the abyss if I move it backwards to expose the catwalk out there. So I'm going to need an extra wall back here. I think there's an easy way to do that. I know I'm kind of jumping around things right now, but I would like to cover all my bases here. So I'm just duplicating this wall that's in the front and moving it to the back so that the player can't just walk off the edge of this building from the inside. Let's put that about there. And now I have to stretch this out. Not quite that much. I just want to make sure that the back of this building is blocked off so that you can't go off the edge. The player will not ever see that back area, so they don't even have to know that there's just a bunch of this building that's hanging off. That is our little secret as level designers. Okay, so now I'm going to get back to the bot. So I want to take these two nodes and move them up a bit so that the drone doesn't go into the hiding spot that's right there. And then these other two nodes, not parallel to that. So I'm actually going to move these a bit so that it's more parallel. These I'm going to move forward. So he's kind of moving in a square path now. Not quite a square, but almost. So I'm hoping that from there his vision cones won't poke out of that bound. Another thing that I'm noticing is the territory bounds are a bit outside of the building. So I want to change that because I don't want him to have to get outside of the building in order to... Where is it? This one. In order to go back to patrol. So this one I'm going to move inwards just a little bit. And same with this one. So that it is inside that building. Okay. I'm going to test this very briefly just to see if those patrol nodes are at the right place. What I'm testing for is to see if the vision cone goes outside of the building and is visible from outside when he gets to those ones that are closer to the front wall. Because if they do, then I need to push them farther back. So let's up here, run in here, and I'm going to take a look through this walkway here, and it looks like it does go outside the building a bit. So if you watch carefully, when he gets back going this direction, you can see that his vision cone goes outside the building, and that is not what I want. I also need to make him move faster because now his path is shorter. So let's adjust that a bit. Fixing the drones is a little tedious sometimes just because you have to constantly test and make sure that your positioning is right and that they're not moving too quickly or too slowly. And it's another thing that is really helped by playtesting. So let's take me where I want it to go. Okay. So now I'm taking these ones, these two, and I'm just going to move them forward. It's actually not a problem if the drone flies right over a coin, I think. You just have to make sure that you're collecting that coin when he's not right there. So maybe that'll add an extra bit of challenge. And I'm going to change the amount of time that it takes to go to each of these. This move node, it takes 1. I think that's still appropriate. Probably it should be 1 for all of these. So instead of 2, I'll have that be 1. And close these up. This one is also 1. This one should be 1. Okay. Save and test that again. Give it a minute to load up. Let's peek out here. Looks like he still goes through the edge of the building a little. I'm curious to see if those other 2 points of his patrol go through the other end of the building. So I think I can see that if I go to the other side here. I'm just sprinting right now, which, as you can tell, you can get past a lot of the drones without issue. But the hope... Oh no, he's gonna get me. Okay, there's a bound right there, so even after he sees me, he will go back to patrol because he gets to the edge of the building. It's a little funky if you're in situations like I am, where you're standing on the edge of the building and he sees you, but he just decides not to come get you. But I think that's just going to have to be how it is. You can think of it as you're in his territory, but you're not like causing problems. So he's just warning you, like, don't come any closer. Stay out of this area. Anyway, back to what I was trying to do, and look and see if this drone that's in that building that I'm looking at gets close enough to where his beam comes out. And I don't think it does, because you can see as he approaches, if you look under the building, there's his spotlight, but the actual beam itself doesn't go outside. So I can afford to move that back a little bit, and I think I'll do that. I'm just going to move all of the patrol nodes back towards that far wall. So let's hop into full view, go to the patrol nodes, and let's move these back a bit. I just don't want the nodes to be too close to the hiding spot. That's my concern. So maybe I'll actually move them over here, closer to the wall. Although, no, that won't go through the edge. I think that'll be good. I'm guessing that will work. So maybe I'll do one there, and each of them goes in a square. That should be appropriate. What I'm also considering, because these are all the same distance, I'm not sure if the beam gets disabled at times when it looks like it shouldn't, so I'm going to watch for that when I playtest this time. What I mean by that is some of the bots don't have their vision cone active while they're moving a very short distance. But since these distances are all the same, and of course you need it to have its vision cone be active at some point, I think it should be active all the time. So as you can see there, that's what I'm describing. When he turns, when he's moving right there, he doesn't have his cone active. I think this drone should just have his cone active all the time. He's moving in a small square kind of area. And looking over here, I think it still does poke through just a little. Just a little. So if I move that corner one just a little bit, I think it'll work well. The concern with having the vision beam poke the outside of the building, on one hand, it just looks weird and janky. But on the other hand, because I've freed up this catwalk path around the outside, if the player's out there and they happen to just touch the edge of the vision cone, they won't be able to see the drone, but they'll still be chased. The drone shouldn't be able to get them because of the territory bounds, but it's still like weird. You shouldn't be able to be spotted if you're out there. So let's fix this up. I think we're getting there. Hopefully this will be more interesting to play than the original one. So I'm going to move these just a little bit that way. And hopefully that will be better. I didn't move them very much, but I'm thinking that will probably fix it. Something that I can kind of test is I can move the drone to roughly where the node is. And now I can see, you can see it poking out just a little bit. So maybe not quite, maybe I need to still move it a bit. Move these just a touch backwards and move the bot backwards to reflect that. And that should be, it doesn't really poke out of the edge there. I think this very corner will. Maybe I'll move him away from the wall. So if I move all of these here, this is pretty finicky, as you can tell. And that's just how it is with level building sometimes. I have to move him away from this corner because I don't want the player to be catchable right there. So let's take these and move them like that. And this may still not be ideal. I'll just have to test and see. That looks about where he was before, but I think his path has been condensed quite a lot. I have another idea that might work better if this doesn't. So I guess I'll test this and I'll see. And if this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna get rid of this drone and replace him with other drones. Because in this particular building shape and size, the rectangle drone seems like it would work, but it was kind of iffy. So I might just replace it with 2 back and forth drones instead. Let's see. So if I appear at the edge here, I can't really see. I can see just the very edge. So if I walk out here, let's see. Can he? He's standing right here. Can he catch me? Not catch me. He's standing over here. Can he catch me? So the edge of the beam did see me. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Okay. So I think at this point, what I'm going to do is get rid of this rectangle patrol drone and replace him with a back and forth one. Because the rectangle is just not really working out too well. So let's get rid of him. Oops, full view. Goodbye, rectangle patrol bot. And so I can see 2 possibilities. One is I just have a single back and forth one going across the center, but I think that will cause the same problems that the original rectangle did. Although it will go a little bit faster, so you'll have to maybe hide more, is the idea. But another idea that I'm having is having a back and forth bot go diagonally across the room, or maybe have 2 of them that do that, because that way I can have the beam turn off when it turns the complete 180 and it won't swing outside the catwalk there. I also don't have to have the patrol nodes as far towards the edges of the building as they were for the rectangle. So let's test that theory. I'm gonna duplicate this one. And I'll move it into this building. I think that building that the other one was on was kind of higher up than this one, so let's lower that down to be at the appropriate level for this building. Okay. So I'm going to move the nodes, really is what I care about, because I'm going to have to change the territory bounds. Which I suppose I could do that now. Let's just rotate them first. And then move them. So I'm not going to be very exact with these, because I'm not super concerned that it has to be exact. So right now I'm just trying to test like the overall path of the drone. Push this one back a bit. There are some edges of this room where you're not going to be perfectly safe right now, and I think that's okay for the time being. Let's just grab this and duplicate it real quick and put it on the last hiding spot. Totally not exact, but I'm not super concerned by that right now. So let's just see how this plays. There. now, immediately it does seem faster, but I'm not sure. Okay. Interesting. Oh well. Oh, I know what I didn't do. Is an important thing. Put the return to patrol trigger on top of the respawn place, and that will stop what just happened from happening. Let's see if I can find it. Full view. Which one is it? This one? Territory bounds should be the first one. And I'll just rotate that. Put it up here. Try and make it roughly the same ones. That should do. Okay. I was almost happy with that. I just think that the path should be more directly looking at the target treasure. So let's rotate this a bit. And what I'm thinking about doing is duplicating it and making another one that goes the other direction. But I'm gonna leave it for now because I'm worried that might be too difficult. So let's see what this is like. Now, I also want to make sure that that beam doesn't go outside, which it does, so I need to push that back a little or rotate it more. So let's see. Whoa! That hiding spot is also now embedded in the wall, so I'll have to change that. Round. Pop, pop, pop. See me get in the hiding spot. So that is more challenging. I'm not sure it's possible to collect the target treasure and then get to a hiding spot without being seen with how fast that bot is. So I might move these hiding spots a little. It's a little disorienting. I think partly because of how dark it is. I think lights will be really helpful here. There's coins right here, but I can't see them. Hello. Now he goes back like he's supposed to. So, what should I do there? I'm going to move the path a little bit. I'm going to move the hiding spots a little bit and add some lights to that room, and then I will call it good, I think. I may not get onto the next level with this just because of how much editing I want to do. Let's take this bot, full view, and fix that. No, is this the right? This is not the right bot. This bot. And let's take this node and just push it that way. That should fix that, I think. Because I don't, let's take the bot and check if he's over here. So that still goes through. In that case, I might take both of these patrol nodes and move them a little that way. I don't super mind if the vision cone goes outside of that wall, because that wall you don't really play over there and you don't look at it most of the time. I think this will do. Because I think that doesn't really go through the wall. I'll just move it just a little bit that way, just to be safe. And now if I take this bot and I move it back over here, you'll see the path goes like that, so it does cover the target treasure, as well as some of those coins. So that should be appropriate. And then I want the player to be able to hide. So I'm going to take my hiding spots that are in this building and move them around a bit. This one I think can go farther, maybe right here. And then this one closer to here, just so that... Oh, and of course the one that's stuck in the wall. Let's move that too. If I can find it. Where is it? There it is. This one needs to be... Let's put that over there. So now there's kind of a rough triangle of hiding spots that you should be able to, ideally, wait for him to turn around, snatch this up, hide in here, or vice versa. If you start over here and grab some coins, you should be able to snatch this and hide in here before he turns around and sees you. And also to get these coins and hide in here. That's what I'm hoping will happen. So I've just moved all of those kind of closer to the main action so that they're more accessible. Now, to compensate for that, I need to change the locations of the territory bounds for those, so that if you do hide, the bot will see you and approach the hiding spot, but then you're hiding, so it can't see you, and it turns back around and goes back to patrol. So let's move this. Again, it doesn't have to be super exact. This one, I'll rotate. Whoops. Where was I? There's a chance you guys may hear some thunder through my mic if it gets loud enough. There's a pretty big storm outside right now. Let's grab this final one and rotate it, put it right there. So that should be good. I think that is about right. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is put some lights in here. I don't really want to use the street light because that feels more like something that belongs outside. So we have kind of a limited amount of light assets, but there is one that Dan made specifically for Dawn City Heist, which is DCH swivel light. And I don't think it's in the prototyping kit right now, but you guys should have access to this. So I think I will publish an update to the prototyping kit that includes the spotlight, or not the spotlight, the street light with the point lights on it, and this little handy dandy swivel light. So I'm gonna pop that in there. Zoom in on it. Let's see this. Yeah, so this one has the spotlight. I'm going to move this into my lighting folder so that I stay organized there. And I think I'm going to stick this on the wall. So the nice thing about these swivel lights is they're really easy to rotate and have them look pretty nice. So I might actually, I'm going to stick this into the wall and have it look like it's attached there. So let's move that right there, pull it down a bit and back out. There we go. And now I can take the swivel light bottom, just this bottom part of it, and I can point this wherever I want the attention to be. So I don't really mind the current angle of it, but I think maybe like that could be cool. Or maybe I'll point towards the coins because they're really dark. I want the player to be able to see that there's money here. This is where you're supposed to go. Whoops, selected that. Now that I'm done working with the drone, I might actually go into my patrol bots and just disable that briefly so that I can focus on this light. So let's swivel that a bit more, point it down. It can be a little tricky to get these pointing the way that you want sometimes, but usually if you just use these gizmos, you'll be able to get what you're looking for. So that's about what I want. Maybe point it a little bit outward. And I'm going to duplicate this guy and turn him around. Now, this is using another kind of light, which I talked about briefly, and that is the spotlight. So spotlights, unlike point lights, do cast light in one specific direction. Whoops. Which you can kind of tell because it points in a circle. So you can see where the light is pointed because it comes out of that cone kind of shape. Now, it's a little bit finicky to work with these once you've already rotated them a particular way, so I totally respect just making a new one rather than duplicating. Zoom in. Does that look appropriate? I'm going to rotate the actual light base a bit, and then I'll take the bottom and point that exactly where I want it, which is right here. So there's still another coin that is kind of lost in darkness here, so I might move this out a bit. Whoops. Gotta be careful when you're working with these to move the whole light when you need the whole light to be somewhere else. It's easy to forget and just work with the bottom of it. The bottom you want to point just where you want the light, and then the rest of it should be where it's attached to the wall. So that looks roughly the way I would want it to. The swivel is starting to get kind of detached because I've rotated it so much. So let's do like that. And if I move it a bit back, let's see. Okay. So then if I take this whole light and move it inside the wall, yes it does. So now you can kind of see a hint of the coins. Maybe I'll do a third swivel light. Oh, that went way out in space. Okay, put that in here. So now we have lots of spotlights on these coins, which is okay. You're going to think when you're making levels for games, this is way too obvious. Like, I don't need to put 3 spotlights on one area with coins just to tell the player that there's coins there. But you would be wrong. You kind of can't be too obvious in level design. Because something that you think is like totally perfectly clear, no way you could misinterpret that, no way you could miss it. Somebody else is going to come along and not know what they're doing. So if you pay attention, actually, in a lot of games, you will see that light is used pretty, I don't want to say egregious, that's the wrong word, but pretty extensively to communicate things. Even things that are already obvious. So don't be afraid of using too much, because it won't happen. Okay. So there we go. We've got that trio of lights kind of pointed where the coins are. And what I'm going to do is actually take all of these, duplicate that whole thing, move it, and just like that, we have it replicated on the opposite side. Now, I might have to do some adjustments here to make sure the lights are actually in the walls and not too far in the walls like they currently are. So, oh, and I want to turn these around because they are facing the wrong way. So like that. And that's already a little bit better. Let's take this and plug him into the wall. Player also probably will not notice if your lights are situated a little bit improperly. Like, that's not actually installed flush against the wall, but the player will not notice that. I guarantee nobody's going to be staring intensely at your lighting situation, except for level designers who think it's cool, like me. Okay, so I think that is about right. Maybe I'll put one final light on the far wall here, like I did originally, and just have that pointing at the target treasure. In the wall. Another thing you can do if you so desire is change the settings of the light. So you can make it brighter, or you can make it point further, which I may do here, because as you can see, you lose that circle of light at the end, and that's because the range isn't long enough. So I might make this one a bit larger, and where's the light on it? The light settings are at the very bottom here for spotlight. So range, if I set that to 20, now you can see. Now that's dramatic. And I think that looks pretty cool. So I'll leave it like that. I think that looks pretty good. So now my building is all lit up. I'm going to activate the roof once again. Or actually, before I do that, I feel like there was something else I was noticing about this room. Let me just double check. I might move those coins to be a little more parallel with their partners. And I'll re-enable the patrol bots too. So there's 3 coins in here that I want to move, which, because these coins are not organized, it's a little bit of a hassle. Let's see. This one, and I bet it's this one and this one. Yep. Okay. Just going to move these to be a little bit farther out. So now I will stick the roof back on. Activate that. And let's play. I should have saved before I hit play, but it's saving automatically, so it's okay. How much time have I spent? Wow, I've spent this whole episode just making these adjustments. It's like that sometimes, and that's not a problem. It takes a long time to fill in a level with all of these things and make it still work the way you want it to, so okay, here we go. So now it's already a lot brighter in here, and you can see the dramatically backlit target treasure. Uh-oh, he's going to see me if I'm not careful. So if I move, I still have time to hide even though he saw me. Where's that other coin? This one. Got it, and looking around, managed to get away. So really quickly I'm going to run and grab these. I'm not using sprint. I'm trying to make it so that even if you're not sprinting, you can still get around these guys. I'm going to hide in here. Okay. So he's around and come back this way. And I think I'm safe. I'm going to swoosh on out of here. So that room, I think, plays better now than it was before. And it also looks a lot cooler with those spotlights. So I'm happy with that. So what's the last things? I think just lighting up some more of those dark places in the level, and then it'll be ready to publish. So let's see if I can do that quickly enough. I'm going to grab my... go into full view first. Grab my street lamp that I have over here. I'm going to duplicate this and put it over here because this area is like super dark. What I want is for the player to kind of see the light because it's in this kind of hidden area between these two shipping containers. I want them to see the light if they weren't already planning to go over here, and then have that be, what's behind there? I can see a light coming from over there, and then they sneak in there and they find out what's going on. Okay, so another couple of areas that needs lights is these other containers back here. I just disabled gameplay again so I can look at it. And I think I'll take another swivel light. which is in the local tab. So the swivel light is going to be in local if you download it from the content portal. Not local, sorry, community. Community is where it will be. Once I add it to the prototyping kit, it'll just be in the kit already. So I'll put an update in the Discord when I've done that. So I'll put this in lighting, and it's going to be some weird place. So let's put it over here. Drag it up. And I want one in each of these. So here it is on top. I lower it down in there. Let's actually put this kind of towards the... I have two options. I could put it towards the back and point outward, or I could put it towards the front and point inward. I think I'm going to do the latter. So I'll put this shipping container embedded in the ceiling, and then I'll take the bottom portion and just kind of tilt that like that. That'll do. And then I can just duplicate this and put it in this one and in this one. And I think I may actually move these all just a bit closer to the front. That'll illuminate more of the space. I think that'll do. Okay. So now, I think that's all of the places that were really dark and hard to see. Or maybe I'll put one more street light on this platform. Let's take this guy again and duplicate and just put it right here. That'll make this nicer to look at, easier to navigate. That's the hope. Okay. So now we have some lights. And let's activate everything and just test this one last time. I think that's about what I'll have time for today. Let's see. Poor Oni has been neglected this whole time, but that's because she doesn't need any help. She's already set up. Okay, so I can see those coins just fine. If I go in here, I can see my new area that I've set up. I'm actually not going to go for the coins this time. I just wanted to take that. And when I go over here, this is lit up now by this street light, and it's kind of easier to see this area and that coin there. On me. Nothing I can do there. But did not feel like it. So now, this street light, what I'm hoping is this gets illuminated enough that if you are looking this direction, you can kind of see. It might be good to have some more spotlights on the outside of this catwalk, but you can make that trip now along the edge of this, and that's what I wanted. This guy to... Oh, boy. If you back off far enough out of their territory, they will leave you alone, and that's... So this light here is pretty subtle, but it does light up the coin and key over here, which is what I wanted. And if I carefully follow this guy, and over here, past this guy, and now I can see brightly lit up coin. If I hide back here, he won't go all the way into the... Now I can see the exit key lit up here. Open this up. More coins. Those coins are a little harder to illuminate with just the one light because they're spread out, but I think you can still see them well enough. So anyway, I think that is about all the changes that I wanted to do on this level. So I'm going to save it and publish it as a full level. And then I'll wrap up for today, because I didn't get time to do this and another level, but that's okay. Sometimes things take longer than you're expecting them to. So, Save that. And now what I want to do here is go to publish game, and it's going to save again. It auto saves whenever you publish. And now it'll ask you to take some pictures. So if I zoom out a bit, I can take a picture of this whole level. Now I'll give you a little pro tip. I'm going to cancel this. It'll save my picture that I took anyway. But here's a pro tip. If you want to just take nice pictures of the scenery, disable gameplay before you go to publish, and then cancel your publish before you actually do it, just so that you get access to the camera mode and you can take pictures without all of the territory bounds and stuff in the way. You can also just take pictures with the territory bounds disabled, and that will give you the same effects, but you'll still be able to see like the coins and the drones and that stuff, which is pretty cool looking. Not really happy with the dramatic shot that I'm trying to get here. So let's see. Let's do one like that. Okay, so I've just taken some random pictures. I'm going to cancel publish because I do want the drones and stuff to be part of this level. And then I'll go back to publish game. So then it's going to autosave again. Give it a second. And then I'm going to keep this as the thumbnail, the main thumbnail, but I'm also going to put these nice pictures of the scenery as my other pictures. First full version, I'll say for the changelog text, and a rooftop heist level. And that's all. So now I can see the preview. This is what it'll look like. And if I go to publish, wait for that to wrap up. And it should be almost there. Come on. It might take it a second. It is a lot of assets in here. Okay, so that should have finished. And now if I go to the content tab, there it is. So anyone from here can play it. If they don't already have it downloaded, they'll have the download button and then they can download and play. So that will go to the next round of playtesting. And so that's our next sprint after we finish with full level building, which will still be open for a long time. I know it says it's due like next week, but that's going to be extended. So don't sweat it. You have plenty of time. But anyway, this will open up to playtesting. I will add that to the game design document under the list of existing levels, and other people can give their feedback. I would love for you guys to playtest that and tell me what you think. Next time, I will probably move on to this level that Brian made, and I'll do my take on those assets for the full level building of the DCH Tower. Or if anybody else would like me to revamp their level with a full level build, I'm happy to do that as well. And if we get any more gray box levels, because that task is still open, I believe, I would love to playtest your levels. So thank you very much for watching. I'm excited to keep on prototyping, keep on building levels, and see what everybody makes for Dawn City Heist. Thanks, guys.